Coming up here on Mountain News this morning, food banks in our region ask for help as a shortage of volunteers causes some issues, and members of an Eastern Kentucky community come together to give some support to one of their own.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It's 5:31 on this Wednesday morning. I'm Dakota Makris. Thanks for watching. Let's head over to Brendan for a look at your forecast. Brendan, I almost lost my train of thought this morning. So it's Wednesday, so
almost derailed there.
It's your Friday though, so that's right. A plus for you.
That's right. We are excited about that, yeah. And but we're still not done with weather for the week. We still have some things to track as we head toward the end of the week. But then, as we head through the weekend, maybe a little bit of a break in the action, at least temporarily. Let's take a look and see what's going on this morning. Clear skies coming through. A few clouds still over into parts of far southeast Kentucky and southwest Virginia, but for the most part, most of the region clear as a bell this morning. You could tell it. 16 Irvin, Moorhead, 19 London, Somerset, 18 Williamsburg, 15 in Ashland, 20s everywhere else, but they're barely holding on in some locations. 12 degrees right now in Lexington. Statewide, 10 in Cincinnati, just across the border there in Ohio. Again, 28 in the Tri-Cities over toward southwest Virginia, northeast Tennessee. 19 in Bowling Green, 17 in Paducah. Your breakfast forecast this morning. Get your bowls out. We're going to pour you some frosted weather wheats, and it's going to be frosted for sure today as we see those skies clear out. Temperatures continue to drop there for just a little bit more into the upper teens in most locations. Planning for today, we stay cold for a little while, but as the sunshine comes out, we warm up just a little bit. About 32 for a daytime high this afternoon. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you. Well, attorneys for a former police officer involved in the raid that left Breonna Taylor dead wants to ban news outlets from part of the jury's selection process. Former Louisville officer Brett Hankinson is set to go on trial for wanton endangerment charges. He is charged with shooting into neighboring apartments during the March 2020 raid. Individual juror questioning is set to begin on February 1st. Hankinson's attorneys are asking a judge to bar the news media from that process. They say jurors may fear that their identity could be exposed. Prosecutors are opposing the ban. Well, in Laurel County, a man and woman are accused of trying to rob a gas station. Deputies say Regina Neal dressed in overalls and a ski mask and demanded money from a clerk at Glenview Market Tuesday morning. She also threatened to shoot her. The clerk refused to comply. Neal took off in a vehicle with who deputies say was William Francis. Both are facing attempted robbery charges. Well, and also in Laurel County, a man is facing several theft charges. Deputies arrested Jonathan Carpenter on warrants out of Whitley County. He's accused of stealing from a woman who hired him to do repairs on her home. Deputies also say he changed numbers on a receipt from a building supply store to take more money from the homeowner. Carpenter is also accused of breaking into a home and stealing several items, including firearms. He is facing theft and burglary charges. Earlier this month, we told you about a fire that damaged or destroyed apartments inside a building at Richmond Manor. Crews had difficulty fighting the fire because a nearby hydrant was not working. Since then, Madison County Utilities installed 2 new hydrants near the complex. However, it is still unclear as to why the other hydrants did not work. During the night of the fire, Madison crews had to shuttle in water, which created another challenge as they worked to put out the blaze.
We really stretched the limit of that operation as well, as because we were trying to float a whole lot of water.
Police say the building was intentionally set on fire by 30-year-old Logan Browning. Fortunately, crews were able to put out the fire and no one was seriously injured. Well, 2 years ago, the theater in Pike County burned down in what was described as a devastating loss to its community. Our Jordan Mullins has more on how the theater company is building back bigger and better.
Actors and actresses with Artist Collaborative Theater say everyone there is family, and many saw the theater as a home away from home.
We've lost people. Some people have moved away and went on to do other things with their life, but they always come back home.
But 2 years ago, tragedy struck, and the theater burned down.
Seeing the absolution of what was being gone and thinking of everything in that building, everything in the basement, all the set pieces and costumes and years of hard work that we had put into it was just gone.
But through it all, the ACT family and the community stood together.
When the real world is that important, we can hold each other up and support each other unconditionally and stand together. And I think that's what we do best.
Now, Richards and others with the theater are in the midst of their comeback season, with rehearsals underway for another show premiering in March.
It's almost like God and the universe kicked us in the hind end. It was like, y'all are getting comfortable. You need to jump some dreams up higher. So we're dreaming pretty big right now.
Able to band together against all odds, proving that the show can and will go on. In Pike County, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
Richards says she and the theater's board members do have plans to rebuild the theater soon, and plenty of shows are still to come at the Breaks Interstate Park and Jenny Wiley State Resort Park. Well, the pandemic is causing hesitancy for volunteers to help out at food banks, causing a shortage of volunteers, making it difficult for food banks to operate as normal. Some are worried about COVID exposure, others are COVID positive or have been exposed and can't make it to volunteer. Food bank directors are encouraging anyone that might be interested to try volunteering at a local or state food bank.
We wear our masks when we're shopping. We wear our masks when we're at school. I don't think volunteerism necessarily is dangerous as long as you're taking the same precautions. So, but just, definitely want to keep your comfort level in mind. So we encourage you to continue to volunteer if that's something that you feel like you can do.
Feeding America, Kentucky's Heartland is still distributing items to Western Kentucky for tornado relief. Well, Tommy Thompson is a retired teacher in Pike County with a line of former students and colleagues who are making some noise for their mentor. Thompson is battling COVID-19, sending waves of emotion through his community as they pray and push for his recovery. So many of those people came together to send him a little light, singing one of his favorite songs to help him through one of many battles he has faced, trying to be there for them as the way he has always been there for them.
For someone to have gone through that much and to still be able to give back so much, that's a very special person. And the least we could do was to spread the word and send as much good juju into the air.
More than 50 devices joined in on the karaoke session, and even more than that gave their well wishes and prayers to the family, saying there have been improvements in Tommy's condition, but he still has a ways to go. Chances are, if you've listened to Christian radio any during the past few months, you've heard a song titled My Jesus. What you may not know is that singer of that song is from Lexington. Ann Wilson is a Kentucky native who's known across the nation for her song that's caught on like wildfire. My Jesus skyrocketed to #1 on the Billboard Christian music charts and remains popular on the radio and in downloads. Our Phil Pendleton was able to talk to Wilson about her hit song and the tragic event that inspired it.
Ann Wilson started her first headlining tour in Lexington for a sold-out crowd.
I mean, it's pretty surreal to be in a place where I'm able to tell the world about Jesus in the way that God has given me that platform.
She recorded most of her first songs as just a teenager, My Jesus quickly becoming the most popular and the most personal from the pages of her journal.
And I remember seeing those words on every page of my journal over the past two and a half years. And I remember asking God, why is it that I've only ever written My Jesus? And he said to me, it's because I am yours and you are mine, and we have a personal relationship with each other.
That journaling and the song came after a very tragic time when her brother died in a crash in downtown Lexington.
And it was like, I felt like I couldn't take my next breath. And so I wanted to prove to myself that God was going to get me through the tragedy and pull me to the other side.
My Jesus has become the song that's personal for many of her fans too. Some churches and even Christian schools have added it to their worship sets and playlists.
I've always myself been in love with worship, so to now have songs that are reaching people, like what you said, in schools or in churches, or whatever way, it's such a feeling of just honor and gratitude within my heart that like I said, that God would choose me to speak to people in that way.
When she and her co-writers penned the song, she says they had no idea it would become what it has today.
So it just speaks to the fact that it's God doing it and God's the one making the song successful, and there's really no other explanation of that.
Lexington, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Well, Wilson is currently on her own headlining tour, but later this year will join recording artist Matthew West and others on a nationwide tour. One Northern Kentucky man is getting ready to hike the entire Appalachian Trail. Gene Perry plans to start the more than 2,000-mile journey in Georgia, using the next 6 months to work his way up to Maine. Perry grew up in Northern Kentucky and often traveled to Red River Gorge to explore the trails there. At the age of 20, he joined the military and was based in Washington State, where he also explored hiking, turning it into a lifelong passion.
I had the opportunity to hike in Europe and Central America, portions of the U.S., even sections of the Appalachian Trail. So really most of my adult life, I took on the bucket list item of through hiking the Appalachian Trail.
Perry has been training for the trek for 18 months, even hiring a personal trainer to help him prepare. He'll be hiking alone most of the time, packing all of his food, water, tent, and other supplies in a backpack. Well, just ahead this morning, a famous actor has some issues with the next live-action remake of a classic cartoon.
And while sunny skies are the story the next couple of days here in the Appalachian Mountains, we are not done with Old Man Winter just yet. I'll have the latest on our next meeting in about 3 minutes.